know what they're doing, and they're not going to take your money for nothing.
That person also have a document from the Board of Immigration Appeal. Ask that person to show you his document, approval from the Board of Immigration Appeal. That this person is okay that can do immigration law. Always, 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 nobody work without that document. And you have the right to see it. If the person give it to you, give you a copy of that, he's okay. If not, then he's not.
So any other questions about the practice of immigration law and who's authorized and who's not and how to be careful? Okay. All right. Any other questions about adjustment of status? Go ahead.
My case, I got a green card, and my wife hasn't got a green card. So how could we change her status? If I petition for her, I understand she will have to go back to wait for the visa to go back to Syria, which is not very pleasant place right now.
Well, yes, you have to start off by filing the petition. All right, that's the first step. The way the law is written currently, she cannot adjust her status in the United States. That is true, because she's probably out of status or will be by the time it's time for her once her visa becomes available. So she.
So you put on the application where you want to be processed at. So you can choose a country such as Jordan where she says that the embassy is there. You can choose that country. It does not have to be the home country. We have a question over here. Yes.
Okay, my question is a little bit different. My mom has her green card since 1997. And we're trying to get her the citizenship. She went to the test twice. It's hard for her to take the test. She passed half of it, but the writing, she couldn't. And there is a say that she can get the citizenship without taking the test. Is there anything like that, or after a certain amount of years or anything?
Okay, someone who is 50 years old and has been a permanent resident for 20 years can apply for naturalization without having to be interviewed in the English language. They still take the test, but it's in their native language. And then they're exempt the reading and the writing. That's if they're 50 years old and have been a permanent resident for 20 years. Or if they're 55 years old and have been a permanent resident for 15 years, then again, they're exempt the language requirements, but they still are tested on the government history. Right. Okay. Okay, so wait until she's had her green card for 15 years. Not the total time she's been here, but she's had her green card for 15 years. Wait until that passes and then apply. And she will be able to be tested in her native language. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 70, again, it's either 15 or 20 years with the green card. The age is important, but the number of years that someone has been a permanent resident is equally important.
How about if they're
80, they would still need at least 15 years as a permanent resident. Yeah.
I would like to say that this is a problem that I find it makes me very sad. People who apply for citizenship and cannot speak English. That's a lot of money to spend if you know when you apply that you're not going to be able to pass the test. So I ask the people, please don't apply for citizenship unless you are absolutely certain that you will be able to pass the English test, the writing test, the reading test, and the civics test. Because that is a lot of money to have go if you're not able to pass the test when you file. And again, when you hit 15 years, it has to be on the date of filing. So you can't file now and say in 2 months she'll have 15 years. You cannot file until she has 15 years. Okay. Now I'm just saying, when you file, make sure that you can pass and are qualified and eligible on the day you file.
It's not only as expensive, it's also very heartbreaking for people to find out that they cannot pass the test and they are basically denied. It's very heartbreaking for a lot of people. So avoid it. If you can't speak English, you can't speak English. Take classes, speak English with your family members, watch American TV, and practice.
There is a lot of people come to me and ask me if they can file the citizenship. I do not agree to file the citizenship until I test them. I test them and they pass, then we help them. If not, we have school to help them to do the English, writing and reading, and the questions for the history of the United States. We have a lot of schools around these days. Let me know, and I'll give you the addresses for these schools.
Other questions?
To visa work visa from outside overseas United States, what kind of work or what kind of job is approved by the U.S. immigration visa?
There's a lot of different occupations that can be approved, but the key is to find an employer. That's the first start, is to find an employer. You're an employer?
That's the B2 visa. We have visas from A to Z. A to Z. And each one have its own regulations and own laws. So I can tell you so many visas right now. It goes with what you are saying. We have the B's, we have the L's, we have the E's, we have a lot of visas. It depends on what the person do and if he find an employer within that particular field. So there is a lot of visas.
What I suggest is you go to our website. Again, it's www.uscis.gov. And there's a whole section on immigration through employment. Go to that website, and it goes into great detail the different types of visas that are available, what the qualifications are, the different types of occupations. But it's called Immigration Through Employment. And it's a huge, huge website, part of the website that will go into all that.
But I want to warn you, don't depend on just what you read, because there is a lot of other things is not in there. So you need to find somebody who understands these things and give you an advice.
General question. What is the criteria from the Department of State or from U.S. to announce a country that we approve them for refugee? I mean, I know it happened in Iraq, but I don't know what is the criteria.
I don't know that I could outline the criteria and be correct. Those are decisions that are made at such a very, very high level. For example, temporary protected status. If you've heard of that, right now we have temporary protected status for Haiti and for Sudan and for various different countries. Those decisions are made at the Secretary of the Department level. Secretary Janet Napolitano, Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, makes those decisions. And honestly, the criteria, whatever I told you, I would be guessing, and that's not fair for me to do that. So I don't know. I don't know. But again, you've got to be heard. Your voices have to be heard. You can go to your Congress people. You can go to USCIS in headquarters. I mean, there are avenues to do that, but I'm not the avenue. I'm just way down on the totem pole. Certainly, I will raise your concerns, and I've done them before. I've met with Amira, and we've talked about it. And I have raised her concerns through my channel or my chain of command. I have forwarded them to our regional office, and then they were forwarded to our headquarters office. But again, I'm just Kristen Smith out in Tampa, Florida, or Clearwater. My voice is not big. But if you gather together and you put your voices together, you have a bigger voice, certainly.
And definitely we are doing that. There is a group from this church and other church. They are getting together and going to the congressman, and they're going to be doing a lot of work. So I would suggest you get together with them and something will happen. Any other questions? Anybody have other questions? Okay.
Well, thank you all very much for your time and your attention. We certainly enjoyed being here. Thank you very, very much.
Very much, and we would invite you again if there's something really we need you.
Okay.
Will you be able to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's definitely our pleasure.
Okay, thank you very, very much, and we really appreciate it.
Kristen?
Yes.
Something called eulogia, which is a piece of bread. It's not holy bread.
Okay.
It's similar to it.
Okay.
So I'll give you a little piece too.
Here. I'd love one. Those are, yeah. I don't have very many of ours, so let's just give out those. Thank you.